Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about the All-USFL quarterback Kyle Sloter getting signed to an NFL team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now the fourth player from the All-USFL team to sign, that coming after Channing Stribling, Victor Bolden Jr., and Sal Cannella. As for him, in terms of his stats and his career-wise, he was an undrafted free agent in 2017, and he's overall been on a lot of practice squads. He's with the Broncos, then he's with the Vikings. It was moved up and down from active roster due to injuries and stuff. The Cardinals, then he was on the Lions active roster for a couple days due to injuries. Then he's with the Bears and Raiders practice squad. The Vikings, kind of same deal again. And the Breakers. Breakers was his first chance to play any sort of real professional football. He was solid. He wasn't great. I had him as the sixth best quarterback in the league. He started 9 games. He had the second most passing yards at 1,798, which, if he played the last game rather than sitting due to health, making sure he's healthy, he may have gotten number 1. His 112 QBR was decent, but it wasn't that high in the league. And as for him, though, he was the All-USFL quarterback, though, as I mentioned in the top 10 video, it wasn't really like he was clear-cut the best quarterback. It was just he was the only one that pretty much started every game until that point. That was in the playoff conversation. But hey, he was still in the playoffs, and he did get bounced. He did play really bad. But hey. As for the Jaguars lineup of QBs is a weird one. I think this is a better lineup than what the Rams do. I think that the Rams, Luis Perez has a better chance of playing as a backup than Sloter does. Trevor Lawrence is the starter. Even though, as personally, I'm not high on Trevor Lawrence, I've always thought he was overrated, even going back to his days at Clemson. He still is going to be their starting quarterback, no questions asked. I mean, he's pretty much, they're banking on him being, their future. They're trying to prove that, getting rid of Minshew was the right move instead of, getting a haul for that first overall pick. Last year, Trevor didn't really play that good. He was probably the third best quarterback after Mac Jones and Davis Mills. He threw 17 interceptions to 12 touchdowns. He went 3-14, though. That record is also due to Urban Meyer. His 3,641 yards were solid, but for a quarterback starting every game, especially in this day and age, 4K is basically the benchmark. But he still was okay. He did rush for 334 yards, so he did have some good legs, but he did fumble the ball 9 times, which isn't a good sign. But he should be improving heading into next year, and a lot of people still are high on him. Their backup is currently C.J. Beathard, who is one of those guys from the Niners during that time where they just got Jimmy G, who was he showed some promise, but wasn't full, him and Nick Mullins. As for Beathard, though, he started a lot of games. His record isn't good. He's, literally, abysmal. He's, 2-10 in his career. But he started 10 games, which is a lot for a guy who, most people view as a career backup. He's passed for a decent amount of yards every year. He's pretty much, aside from that third year where he actually played, he's averaged about 200 yards per game. His QB rating has gotten better, I guess, but at the same time, that last year in 2021, he only, threw 2 passes. But as for starting-wise, he was 69 QBR, or quarterback rating, then he was 81.8 quarterback rating, then 105.7. And his QBR has also gone up from 35 to 41 to 46, which is all solid. And in terms of his rushing ability, it's not the best. He doesn't really run the ball that often, but he has gotten some. He's a really solid backup to have, and I don't really see Sloter being able to get above him. And then Jake Luton was a 6th-round pick by the Jags back in 2020. He ended up starting a couple games due to injuries. He went 0-3, threw 2 touchdowns. He averaged just over 200 yards per game. He ran the ball literally 1 time for a touchdown. He fumbled twice. He's okay. But as for Sloter, I just really don't see him overtaking really any of these guys, which is one sad thing for him. It's not like Perez where I feel like in practice, or training camp and stuff, he can show he's better and use his resume. I just don't really see that for Sloter here, especially not over Beathard. Maybe Luton, but no way Beathard. Especially since these, Luton and Beathard have been in this system for a year, it's going to be a lot harder for Sloter to actually, come up over them in the roster. He'll probably end up being in their practice squad if he shows enough flash, and he'll be there, I guess a bit. Well, we'll see. Overall, this has been Fox. If you enjoy this content, mind notifying as soon as I upload any videos. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.